In life, we are on a constant pursuit for our slice of the pie. The pie comes in many forms, whether it's starting a business, higher education, pursuing a career, raising a family, and the list continues. The burdens we face during our pursuit is lessened when we are financially fit. The Breadwinners created a platform where we can discuss finances and entrepreneurship in a judgment-free space. We're striving to encourage healthy financial discussions amongst our peers to capture our slice, until we no longer want a slice and would rather bake our own cake. Coming from where we come from, sports kind of was like thrusted on us, right? Mm-hmm. But during that process, we learned how to be competitive, and that competitive fire came out of us.
Absolutely.
Do you think that there's a correlation with being competitive and being an entrepreneur?
Absolutely. Being an entrepreneur, I mean, you're pretty much in a competitive market, whatever business you choose to, endeavor in. You're in a competitive space no matter what. So that competitive spirit that we had coming up, especially in sports, will definitely transition into the entrepreneurship world.
Absolutely. I think it's really unique. And then I look at, like Bron, I look at Kobe, rest in heaven. You look at Jordan, and it's like something you just can't turn off, right? Mm-hmm. But in sports, we had a passion for whatever sport that we ultimately choose. And when we're talking about passion, what's your passion with all the ventures and all the businesses that you're in?
My passion, I would say, is building a legacy for myself and my family. Mm-hmm. Touching back on what you had previously asked before in terms of where we came from. We come from too much of nothing. No one has left us a legacy. Mm-hmm. I am pretty much the first generation everything, right?
Right.
And I want to leave that legacy behind, so that way there's no more first generations. Now my son, my nieces, my nephews, their children can have something to look forward to.
Absolutely. So I love it when passion meets purpose. Mm-hmm. I do.
And that is actually my slogan.
Is it?
Yeah. So with my barbershop, Rivals Barbershop Lounge, up under the logo on my window is where passion meets purpose.
I swear I've never paid attention to that. That is so dope.
Yeah.
That is so fire. Yeah. I love it, man. So, I've been knowing you since like all my life, right?
Yep.
So I've always known for you to be a barber. Like, how did that start?
Man, it's years ago. So I grew up in a shop. My mom, she's a beautician, so it was naturally something that I picked up on. Mm-hmm. But I never did it full time, and I seen the ups and mostly the downs from what my mom, the fight she took on with it. And I said, this is not something that I can see myself doing full time. So it's always been a side hustle, mm-hmm. right? Up until I figured out that I actually have a gift. Now, I done worked these jobs, I done ran these companies and led and oversaw multiple employees, and I never understood the gift that I had, right? It wasn't until I was up for a VP role, and myself and the other director had some words back and forth. He had a little bit more tenure than I did, but my performance was better than his. Mm-hmm. And at this point, I'm working for a $4 billion firm. I'm the, so to speak, the token black guy at this firm. And I had 4 weeks of vacation. Our vacation don't roll over, so it's either you take it all or you lose it all. So I took my vacation. The very next day, I turned in my resignation.
The day you came back?
No.
You didn't even...
I didn't even take I took 1 day of vacation. And the very next day, I turned my resignation in. Reason being.
Yeah, I was going to ask why, yeah.
Reason being is that's when I realized my gift. And I know the question you're going to ask next is, how did you realize it in 1 day? It wasn't 1 day. It was a lifetime.
Yeah.
But within that 1 day of me having to myself, I was able to reflect who I was and who I want to become. And it had nothing to do with the firm that I was at. So I ended up watching a video of Steve Harvey. And after a set of Family Feud, he's talking to the cast.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, if you have a gift, I don't care if it's frying chicken, landscaping, barbering, if you have a gift, just jump, just leap.
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself, man, like I said, I reflected, and I came to the conclusion that my gift has always been with me no matter what. No matter where I worked or what I did, I never put down the clippers since I was 10 years old. Never put down the clippers. And I said, this is my gift. So I'm going to hone in on this gift. I'm going to see where it takes me. And here we are, 3 years and 3 years and 8 months in of entrepreneurship.
So let's stay there. Mm-hmm. Let's stay there because I'm really curious because making that shift is hard.
Oh,
it's hard, man.
It's tough. It's tough.
That shift from when you have your job in corporate America, and you made a really dope point. Mm-hmm. I don't know who's passionate about working in corporate America. Like, it's tough because it's like, yeah, you go to school. The whole mantra is you go to school, you get a good job. You get good grades, you graduate, you get a good job, and then you work your 30 or however long, you stack your 401, and then you're good, right? But at some point, you like, I'll pass.
Yeah.
So talk to me about when you, like, I know you mentioned it took you 1 day and the why, but how hard was it once you got going to, say, okay, I made the right decision? Or was there even the transition?
Oh, it was definitely a transition. First off, I had to get my mind state right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because we are so used to knowing exactly how much we getting paid. Right? Whether it's weekly or bi-weekly or, twice a month, whatever it is. We know exactly how much that check is going to be. Absolutely every payday. So now to give that up, and then I'm walking away from money. I had bonus on the table, right? I had, they end up offering me a $25,000 pay increase to stay.
It's funny how that works, right?
Why didn't y'all give me that in the beginning?
Because you didn't ask for it. We didn't feel the need.
Yeah, so I had to get my mindset right. And I believe that is what will defeat a person in the beginning if they're not strong, right? It will defeat you because you are going now from knowing exactly what's going to happen to the not knowing. You have no idea, right? Yeah. And I wasn't at that time real big on social media. I can still use some work in that area now. And my ex, who I was with at the time that I made that decision, she encouraged me like, hey, you got to post, you got to post, you got to post, you got to post. And it still took me a while to post because I wasn't really big on social media. So I'm just like, you know what? Hey, what the hell? Like, I posted a pic of a haircut that I did. Mm-hmm. And the responses that I got back was insane. Oh, Aaron Turpin, I forgot you cut hair. You used to cut my hair back in junior high school or high school. Or you cut my hair in college. Hey, are you in Cleveland? Right?
Like, yeah,
so I'm just like, yeah, man, yeah, come on through. So from that, it took a few weeks after I made a decision of stepping down. But from that response, my journey pretty much took off from there, and I never looked back. So now my mindset is straight. Now I got to make sure that I still have enough, right, monthly to take care of my obligations outside of, my passion or my focus or my purpose. And then, and that shortly followed.
Absolutely. So, I mean, just from a macro perspective, you started barbering like early 90s. Like that's when you got into it, and then
early 90s. So I'll say about 91, 92.
Yeah, and then you're I'll say what, early teens, 20 teens is when you made the transition to just like pursue it completely, like full time?
I made the decision July 2nd of 2018.
2018. Man, I thought it was earlier than that. No, 2018.
2018.
That's amazing. And now here we are with Rivals. One, first and foremost, man, that name is dope. I always love that
name.
Man,
it took me a long time to come up with that.
How did you come up with that name? Because I know we're creative, right? And then we're both the type that, I know since you're a barber, you're like, it got to be right.
It got to be
right. So,
and I went through probably thousands of names. And I thought I had my mindset on one name, and then I look it up. It's already taken. Go back to the drawing board. And it went like that, man, for months at a time. Until now I finally found something. I said, wow, what does that mean? What does that mean? So what that meant is, and now this is touching back on the very first question again that you asked, the competitive nature, right? I'm very competitive. I'm going to outbeat every barbershop out there. And I'm going to look better than every barbershop out there, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm everybody's rival. They want to emulate and be like what we are. We are a brand name.
I love that, man. Yeah. I love that. So that competitive nature for you? Like, when did you first notice that, I love to compete? Was it in sports? Was it in something else?
Oh, it was sports.
It was sports?
It was sports, hands down. I would say that I probably wasn't the best at everything.
Yeah.
But you couldn't tell me I wasn't. You couldn't tell me I wasn't. I'm going to beat you no matter what. I'm going to find a way to beat you. I'm going to find a way to win. And that's what I do. I win.
Isn't it funny how it all works out?
Yeah.
Like if you take a moment and you just reflect and you're like, damn, I can't believe like how all of this is properly aligned. It's so crazy. But let's talk about Rivals. Let's talk about barber. It's, to me, man, the power of a haircut. It's unmatched. It's like, it makes you feel so good when you got a nice cut. You can talk to any chick. But if you don't have a cut, you're like, nah, today ain't my day.
So the haircut is important, right? It's very important for the image, for the look you're trying to portray. But the flip side of it, we are people's outlet who don't have an outlet, right? Us as men especially, and black men and women at that, we don't go and seek the help that we need to seek. We don't go and talk to a therapist, especially with men, because I deal with more men than women. But we don't really have a lot of outlets because we're, I would say, quote unquote, too manly to talk to someone.
Right? Our society has built a reputation of that, definitely.
But the barbershop has always been that. I had a gentleman come in 2 days ago, Friday afternoon. And at this point, man, he was defeated. He was, he was lost, and it was so heavy on him, he couldn't find a way out. But he had nobody to talk to. He had no one to talk to whatsoever. So him and I stepped in the back, and then he just let it all out. And then he was like, Aaron, I have no outlet. And then the outlet I thought I had, hell, she's half the problem. So we are that for everyone, that comes in. Sometimes people don't have anything to say. But just to get away from their normal routine daily and just hear barbershop talk, whether it's sports, relationships, things that's going on in the society, we are that for folks. And that's their outlet, right? So to me, it's more than just a haircut.
It's an experience.
It's an experience.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that.
That's what I'm grooming my shop to be, an experience away from everything else that you have to deal with day to day.
I think that's fire, and I can attest to that. I think that is so fire.
And you've seen the growth so far. You know, it's not completely finished, but you've seen the growth from the very first day you came in up until now. Now we're packed out with 9 barbers.
It's crazy. When I walked in, I saw it. I said, holy smokes, like this is...
Yeah. But in the end, it wouldn't be more or less 12 or 13 in there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, but your background is finance.
My background is education and finance.
Education and finance. Yep. So when it comes to planning, to business, to those things, this is something that you're not like lost to, or you're not foreign to. This has always been that. So let's talk about that. So from a perspective of, I'm just now starting to cut hair, and now it's like, okay, now it's a business. Mm-hmm. I can make money off this. Like, I can make real money off this. Wait a minute, this can be my full-time gig. Mm-hmm. That's great, but you also got to have like the financial literacy part as well.
You gotta have it.
So let's talk about a strategy for you with Rivals, where it's like, okay, I want to put 12, 13 chairs in here, but what's the process to evaluating that? So
first process to evaluation is you have to count up your bills. Okay. How much does everything cost? All right. So you line all that up. How much is booth rent now? All right. How many chairs do I need to be occupied in order for me to pay all my bills? Right. And then from there, the rest is in the business. Now I have multiple chairs that brings me net income. Right. And now what do I do with that? That's a big question. That's a huge question. That's a real big question. Right? Absolutely. So do you take it and you spend out and buy cars, clothes, designer stuff, or no? People blow their bags. Oh, they blow it. Yeah. They blow it. But see, I'm a vet in this business, man, and that is one thing, and I've seen it happen a million times where, somebody will have something successful going on, right? The plan is there. Everything is there. But what's not there is the budgeting and it's the reinvestment. That's important. You have to reinvest. Whether it's in your business or you open up another, you have to reinvest. And so that is my plan for Rival. In order to grow the brand name, in order to grow that Rival name, I have to reinvest everything that I bring in. Absolutely. I think the biggest investment you make is, one, is into yourself, and then 2 is into your business, because it's so important. Because how else is your business going to grow? Right. Like, you can take that, let's say $1,000, $1,500 a month, and then you take that and you go on vacation. Well, that money's gone. It's over. But you put that into your business, and then it can regrow. It can continue to grow. Haircutting is something that I love to do. Right. Like I said, I've been doing it for years, but that is active income. Right. I have to physically work to make that money. My focus moving forward is more passive income, right? Where I don't have to put in so many man hours to receive, a lump sum of cash. Absolutely. I mean, money got to work for you. That's right. That's my whole motto. It's like, I don't work for money, money works for me, because we can't outwork it. How can you outwork money? You can't. You don't know what's going on. When you make these investments, you can't control, like, for example, the stock market. You can't control what goes on in the market or what a company does, good or bad. So it's like, why don't you just put your money in places where it can work for you? But from a barber perspective, would that be like adding more chairs, opening up more shops and things like that? Absolutely. Because you're taking all the risks, right? All the risks. All the risks. And actually, that is, that is a part of my game plan, is to open up more rivals, maybe have a West rival, and oh, that'd be dope. Yeah, that'd be dope. And that name stays, I don't care whether it's a beauty shop or a laundromat, rival is rival. It is, yeah. So yeah, that's the plan, man, to grow it all the way out. Yep. And focus on that brand. And when you come in my shop, you'll see everybody wearing that brand, whether it's from their smocks, their capes, or just apparel. They're wearing that brand because that's what we are, a brand. So, when it comes to being an entrepreneur, you have to be an investor, right? Because first and foremost, you're investing into your business, right? Absolutely. So there's an inherent risk
that comes with that, like we just mentioned, like a financial risk. And oftentimes when new people start their business, they don't have those resources, right? So if they do have those resources, one, they're just going to have to do it and suck it up. Or if they don't, then they have to go out and get a business credit, which is like super duper important, right? When I walk into your shop and I see all this new stuff, I'm like, dude, this is fire. And it's just a crazy story. Like, I was talking to David and I was talking to my wife, like, you know, I need to talk to somebody on camera about business credit. Like, I need somebody just to have this conversation with me. And I'm like, I just got to find it. And then when I was in the shop and we are just having this organic conversation, and we brought up Best Buy. And I'm like, I got to go get some TVs. I'm like, I'll use my Net 30. And you were like, you know, they don't report. And my mind on the inside, I'm like, how you know that? Right? Like I know it doesn't report, but to most people, they don't understand it.
They have no idea.
And then at that moment I said, oh, I need that. I need to get this guy on my pot. And it's so crazy because you're like right next to me. Like I see you all the time. But it's also a thing like, you know what? We really don't, not we, you and I, but in general, we really don't talk about money all like that.
That's
like,
right.
Again,
That's
amongst
right.
our peers.
That's right.
So it's just weird, but it's super dope that a barbershop could be that place where that's a conversation and that's a topic. And now we're back on to business credit, which is super duper interesting. So let's walk through a plan, you know, when it comes to business credit. You can't just go out and start applying for shit, right?
No.
Okay, so tell us where we got to start.
Well, you got to start with getting you an LLC and an EIN first off, right? So LLC is, I mean, it was in the state of Ohio, it was roughly about $100.
99, yep.
Yeah. And EIN, you can apply for free.
It takes like, what, 60 seconds?
Yeah, not even.
The IRS website. Yeah. It's crazy when I hear people talk about like they paid so-and-so to get their EIN, and I'm like, bruh.
I hear the commercials. Legal, was it legal?
LegalZoom.
LegalZoom. Yeah.
Yep.
We can, you know, get your LLC and EIN for X amount of dollars. No, you can do all that yourself, and it takes literally no time at all.
That was a few seconds.
None.
Yeah.
They're gonna charge you $500 for something you could have spent $100 on.
Yep, because it's $500 plus the $99 filing fee.
There you
so
go.
They say no, that $500 is for me.
That's insane. That's insane. But yeah, so that's the starting point. Then you have to open up you a business bank account.
Yep.
Right. And then what I would recommend is if you don't have a physical business address, do not use your home address, right? But I would recommend using either a physical business address or a virtual business address.
You like the virtual addresses?
I don't have one.
Yeah, I don't
they
either.
have physical addresses.
Yeah.
But a lot of folks recommend them.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't have a physical address.
I understand the why, you know, because you want to keep your private life private, and once that information is out there, it's out there. But there's always there's some negatives to it.
Oh, it definitely is. But it's not just about privacy; it's about credibility, right? So when these creditors or businesses are looking you up, and then they see that you have, or they see that this is a residence.
Yep.
And not a commercial physical space or a virtual space, they're looking like, okay, well, is he really credit worthy?
Is he
so
real?
Why would I approve him from this? And he just gave me a home address.
Yeah.
Right. So that's more or less what it's about.
And
too, yes, privacy is important because if you have that, and most information we know is public outside of your social and anything that's supposed to be private. But if someone is looking your business up and see that it's attached to your home, then
they know where you are.
They know where you are.
Yep, they know where you are, and it's to me, it's scammers put in a lot of work. It's like if they just use that energy and that creativity to do something positive, they can change the world.
Absolutely.
But yet they just want to put in this work and be very scammish.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we got our LLC or we got our formation because some people can go S corp, C corp, whatever they want to do, right? And then we got our EIN. And then another important step is the Dun & Bradstreet.
So, after all that's said, address, EIN, LLC, bank account.
You gotta have that bank account.
Right? Gotta have a bank account. So yes, the next step is to get a DUNS number.
Yes, sir.
You gotta get a DUNS number because that's who reports the paydex scores.
Do you pay somebody for a DUNS or you go get it yourself?
No, you get it yourself.
You get everything yourself.
But see, and Dunn's, once you get on their site, they're going to try to sell you.
They got to pay the rent
Yeah,
too.
they're going to try to sell you, and most people who don't know will buy into it. I mean, I just paid $500 or $700. I think one plan they had was like $800, and I'm just like, man, there's no way. They rang my phone literally for like 2 weeks straight trying to sell me stuff.
Yeah, it's like the credit signal and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but they got a free account.
Yeah,
and the
it's
free
a free
account is
account.
what you go through. So when you complete your DUNS number, first you do the lookup. And then after you do the lookup, it takes, what, a couple minutes?
That's it.
And then like within, they say up to 30 days, but you get it in like 48 hours most of the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now you got that DUNS number. And most people don't understand that aspect of it, because it's like, okay, if you can leverage the bank's money, but there's like steps and there's a process to build it.
It's easy steps that anyone can take. It's just a lot of times people don't want to take the time out to do it, right? If you dedicate it, just say for instance now, this is a social media driven world. And we know we got our iPhones, so we get our activity report, once a week, right?
Yep.
So you see activity report and you see that I've been on social media now at least 7 hours throughout the week, right?
Oh, yeah, your screen reports, you get them Sunday.
Yeah, you get them Sunday. I've been on social media at least 7 hours. Why not dedicate one of those hours to your own business? Right? Instead of trolling.
You know what? Let's stay there. Because people call me crazy on how I break down my days. So I get up around 5 in the morning, right? And this is like all of my days are like rigid, right? I'm up at 5 in the morning. I don't turn in until about 11:30 midnight, like every day. Like I am on a really tight schedule, right? And what people don't understand is when you break down your 24 hours, you find ways so you can be more productive.
Absolutely.
So we can be more focused. So from your perspective, because you got a lot going on, how do you break down your 24 hours?
I'm up early every morning. I am up early. It's hard for me to actually break that down just because a lot of times I'm all over the place.
Right.
But in terms of barbering, my schedule is from Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to about 6 p.m., right?
Okay.
And within that time frame, I may have to talk to some contractors. I may have to set time out to go to a property because I do have real estate, or I'm getting my shop worked on while we're working, so I got to stop cutting to make sure I'm giving them the directive they need to complete the job to my satisfaction.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then also I'm answering business calls while I'm cutting.
It's like, man, I'm all over the place.
I'm all over the place. So it's tight. It's hard for me to have one set routine daily.
Yeah.
But it's a routine that kind of works for me throughout the week.
It's fluid.
Yeah.
Just like the business plan is super fluid. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to talk to you about that because people think I'm like super weird when I tell them. It's like, it's like my morning, like my wake up and my turn in is about the same time, but during the day, it's like I got to have some sort of continuity.
Yeah.
But you have to understand, like, you don't just call me randomly. Like, that's one of my peeves. It's like, if you need me, text me. But if you call me randomly and I don't answer, now you got an attitude. And I'm like, what do you think I'm doing? Like, I'm just chilling?
I'm working. I am working. And it's tough too. And this is what I tell new entrepreneurs when they come to me for advice. And there's a few folks that I have that I mentor, right? And it is a tough situation getting into entrepreneurship because relatively things will be, I would say relationships. Not to say I'm putting them on a back burner, but things will be limited, like time.
Man.
So if you are in a relationship or seeking a new relationship, a female would tell you, I want to spend time with you, but my time is limited.
Yeah.
Right? If you want a man with endless time, then he has no money.
Dude, I was going to go to that.
Then he has no money.
Yeah.
Right? But if you want a man who has some goals, some ambition, who wants to work hard to build for his family, then that time will be limited. That's something you got to sacrifice.
Yeah, I swear, dude, it's like one of my things. You want a man with time, he's not going to have money. If you want a man with money, he's not going to have time.
He's not going to have time. There you go. And they say, well, you got to have a work-life balance. Do you? When you are in business for yourself, there's no such thing as balance. That is thrown out the window.
Yeah.
Balance is non-existent. It sucks.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is. So you mean to tell me if we went on vacation that you would answer business calls?
Yes.
I said absolutely. So you have a 9 to 5, right? You get a salary. You take vacation days, which means you still get paid for those days you're off.
Yep.
If I don't work, I don't get paid. If something fails, I don't get paid. So I have to put out fires immediately. So if I got to answer a call, that's what I have to do, and you have to respect that. And if you can't, then maybe I'm not the person for you.
It's funny, and it's a really interesting conversation because it's like you want to give all your time and all your energy,
Absolutely.
but your passion is your passion. So it's like, I know as we get older, it's difficult for people to understand that, but it's like the balance is like, it's tough, dude.
It's
like,
tough.
I got to prioritize. So
it's tough across the board, and a lot of times men take away from themselves to give to their significant other and their family, right? But they're not completely happy.
No.
Right? They're not completely happy. But you are. But this man isn't. But you don't know that he isn't because he's not really out there telling you that he isn't fulfilled because he had to take away from himself.
Yep.
I'm at the point in my life where I'm not taking away from myself, and I'm building something that needs to be built for myself and my family to make me whole. I can't fully make you happy unless I am.
Yep. Absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Cool. Didn't mean to super pivot, but
No, I know. Hey, it happened.
it was great. It was great. That was dope because it's a conversation that I always have with people. It's like they always ask those things, and I'm like here, man. I mean, I am what I am, so like I can't kick it. I can't party. I get annoyed when people ask me to go to a party or a club. I'm like, dude, I'm in the trenches right now. Like I'm in grind mode. Like leave me alone. Like it's just. But I love you.
Nonetheless, I love you, but
it is what it is, man. It's the entrepreneurship. It's like you trade that 8 to 5 for a 24/7.
Absolutely, and you have to. We have been so programmed to run other folks' companies, right? So or just work for somebody else, right? So we got that 40 hours a week that we work, maybe more, and then once we off, for the most part, for the working class folks, they're just off. They're off of work.
They want to relax.
But we have to put more time into ours than we did somebody else's.
Way more.
Right? In order for us to even, float above water. Right? So if I'm putting 40 hours into somebody else's dream, man, I got to triple that into mine.
It's yours.
It's mine.
You love it. It's your baby. You're going to grow it, and nobody's going to love it like you.
Yeah.
It's just like your child.
Absolutely.
So let's get back to this. Now we got our done. So we got our formation, S Corp C Corp LLC. Cool. We got the address because all that stuff got to be uniform.
Absolutely.
So your EIN, all that stuff got to be uniform. We got our DUNS number. Now we straight. Do you like the apps like Tilfo or NAV that monitors your business credit?
I don't use Tilfo, but NAV, yes.
You use NAV, yeah.
So create a NAV account. It is free, but they also have a paid version, right? That paid version reports as a trade line.
This guy got knowledge.
That paid version, $40 a month, reports as a trade line.
Yep.
So you want to pay that $40 a month. But let's take it back just a bit.
Okay.
And I'm only going to take it back because everything we told you thus far is free, right? So a person who doesn't have income coming in can apply for these certain things outside of the $100. Can apply for these things, right?
Yep.
But now, once we apply for NAV, we still have to make sure now, at this point, we got some type of liquid coming in, right? Because now it's going to cost you to build this business credit.
Yep.
Okay. So now, after we have created our NAV and got our $40 a month that's acting as a trade line.
We got one trade line.
We got one trade line, right? So now we have to start getting our net 30s, right? Quill, Granger.
What's a net 30? Let's break that down.
Okay. A net 30 is basically a term they use. You got 30 days to pay off this certain credit that I just gave you.
Yep.
Right. So I'm going to extend this credit to you, and I need to be paid in full in 30 days.
Absolutely. It's like a charge card.
Yep.
Without the card.
Without the card.
Yep.
So the top, I'm not going to list the whole net 30 accounts, but I will say the top 3. You got Granger.
Yep.
You got Uline, and you got Quill. Now you can use all 3 of these net 30 accounts to get your necessities, right? Even
Things
if you
you
don't
need.
have an office yet, things you need, whether it be toiletries, disinfectants, cleaning supplies, office equipment, things that you need to run, day-to-day business or living, so.
Yep.
And that's what I started off with, so I would get the shops, the paper towels, the tissues, the trash bags.
Yeah.
That's what I started off with. Now, with that being said, you have to get on the phone with them first before you start purchasing. Why do you have to get on the phone with them?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
You have to call them to make sure, to first ask, how much do I have to pay into this? Or how much do I have to spend with you guys for you to report?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because that's important. Because if
that's-
you're not reporting, then why are we even doing this?
Right. So some folks, they won't call, they won't ask, they just start buying stuff. And then they come to me and say, hey, it's not reported. Well, how much did you spend? I spent $40. Well, you ain't spent enough.
Yeah, most of the time it's like $99.
So it's pretty much $100 across the board.
Yep.
Yeah, it's $100 across the board. Now every year does change. Every year it changes in terms of the price that you need to spend in order for them to report. But I believe it's still about $100.
It is. It's 99. Yeah.
Okay.
It's and I'll add to that. I'll add a fleet card. So you can get like Fuelman, you can get BP, you can get Shell. I know there's like this myth that you got to have 5 net 30s before you graduate to that second tier.
Right.
But I think adding a fuel card, especially if you're already using money paying for gas, I think a fuel card would be kind of cool.
No, fuel card is a great option. Some of them now has went to tier 2.
Really?
Okay, so that's tier 1. Some of them now has transitioned this year into tier 2.
Well, I'm glad we've been in this for so long.
Yeah, we've been in this for a while. So
we got them all. So let me ask you this, because I know a question that's going to pop up is like, okay, but I don't want to run my personal credit.
No PG required. So I'm only applying for things that has no PG required. Now, once you got enough tier 1 accounts, I would say you at least need, at least need 5.
It's 5, yeah, to get that 80,
yeah,
that 80 paydex.
Yeah, the 80 paydex score. So you at least need 5 reporting to get the 80, and then you move to tier 2. You'll have some companies that ask for your social security number.
Yep.
Right? Now, some folks, maybe I don't know if I should say this or not, but some folks will put the EIN number as their social.
Right.
Right. But then that company will call you.
Yeah, they will.
Say,
Yeah,
hey, you made a mistake. You put your EIN number for your social, but they're not doing a hard pull on you or even a soft pull.
No?
No. They're just making sure you are who you are. Okay?
Absolutely.
It still says no PG, so they're not running any pulls on you whatsoever. So they're just making sure that you are Jason Lockett, okay, and your name is attached to your social.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It's
So
risk.
that's it. Yeah.
Because when you set up your formation, your LLC or whatever, you're separating yourself from that business.
Absolutely.
So from a bank's perspective, they're like, hey, bruh. Like,
Home Depot called me.
yeah.
They called me when I first applied. They said, hey, you put your EIN number. I knew what I did.
Yeah, we ain't stupid. We ain't stupid. Yeah.
I knew what I did.
So let's back up really quick. PG means
personal guarantee.
personal guarantee.
Yeah.
So I that's one of the fears. People are like, I don't want to use my personal credit. Well, you get accounts that don't have a PG, and then you proceed from that perspective. But you also mentioned soft pull and hard pull, which credit is like my absolute love.
I know.
Soft pull. I love soft pull and hard pulls, man. Well, soft pulls.
Pulls.
I hate hard pulls.
Yeah.
A soft pull is when they do like they call it like a promotional inquiry, right? So with promotional inquiry, you won't get that hard inquiry on your credit report.
Right.
So that means you're just shopping. I'm balling right now. Like, I don't care if you deny me. Oh, well, I want your account anyway.
Soft pull me up. Soft pull me up.
So let's talk about, so now we have our Paydex and now we got our 80, right? So now it's like we can go on to that next tier and get like some better, cooler accounts. I'm not sure, is Sam's Club a second tier?
Second tier.
Yeah, although I never shopped there, but I had to get the card.
Best Buy is a second tier too.
Yeah, Best Buy is dope.
So yeah, those are second tier accounts. So now we can start getting our store credit.
Yep.
Okay, so we went from net 30s. Now, I just want to rewind back just a second.
Yeah, let's do it.
We have to make sure that these net 30s and even these store credits are paid on time.
Oh, that should be like a given, right?
It should be, but it's not. You know, they think, okay, man, just my business name. Hey, listen, I run all this credit up and I close the business and then restart, redo it again.
Oh, that's a horrible thing to do.
Yeah. So they have to make sure that it's paid on time, So if you got a net 30, right, I will pay it 20 days. I will pay it in 20 days. I got 20 days to make this payment.
Okay.
Okay. Now we go to our store credit, which is tier 2. Our store credit: Home Depot's, Lowe's, Best Buy, Sam's Club, and even some of these gas cards. Like I got Exxon, Shell, BP.
Yeah.
Those are in between tier 1 and tier 2. But now, like I said, we're focusing more on store credit now. Okay.
Yeah. You know which one I hated was, dang it, the Giant Eagle. Gitgo wanted me to PG it.
See, yeah.
And I said, come on, y'all. You know I let them fuel perks.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
then I said, nope.
I move away from all that. I move away from
that. I think it's also doing your due diligence when
Yeah.
it comes to the PG and OPG because.
And if I really had to PG something, which I haven't, I want to make sure they report.
That's first things first. I'm not getting
Yeah.
an account listing report with the exception of Best Buy. Because I just get ink from there.
Yeah.
I don't know why I wanted it. And I just wanted, all I get is ink.
But Quill and...
yeah, I know, but Best Buy,
but Best Buy is Best Buy.
Emotionally, I'm attached to Best Buy. I like TVs, man.
All of them.
I mean, it's like, how many do you need? I don't know, I'll figure it out. One in each to cover my entire wall.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, that is dope, man. I mean, essentially, that's like a really cool plan. Right. It's a really cool plan, and now you can get those things to like fund your business, right? And to help your business. But wait, so let's talk about this. So now, how long does it take, like on average, for one of those accounts to start reporting? So I know that's like the main question you get, right?
Man, it's tough to tell because Granger is different from Uline or Quill. I want to say like Uline, it can be up to 90 days before they even report. Quill can be 30 to 60 days before they report. So it's a little
it's different.
It's different.
But
6 months total should get you at least through tier 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Because once they start reporting,
it's over.
It's over. Now you can start the next phase.
Yep.
Right. So, it's hard to put a dead set time frame on when they report, but you got at least 90 days for them to report.
Definitely.
Some happens before, some don't. So, but 6 months, I definitely give you some decent credit for you to go out there and start really, applying for things that you may need for your business. So now that you have transitioned into tier 2 and now you got these tier 2 accounts and you're paying that, and once those start reporting, now you're almost tier 3 credit worthy, right? So now we're talking about lines of credit. Now we're talking about loans. Now we're talking about getting cars in your business name.
I was going to ask you about that, yeah. But we got to be careful when we get to that level too.
Because now those increases, they're up there.
You get way more in business than you do on a personal.
Way more. Way more, right? But you got to be careful with that money. You just can't go out and just spend it frivolously on
personal things. Yeah, that's why the investment in the business is so important. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, because a lot of people always ask me like, yo, man, when can I get a car in my business name? And I'm thinking, well, why do you want to put a car in your business name? That's always my first question is why? Because if you got a nice car, I think people just want to do it because of the mystique and say, oh, that's in my business name, right? But it's like, why? Especially if you don't need, if that car isn't really used for what it's used for. But yeah, let's talk about that, man. Because now we're getting that access of lines of credit. Mm-hmm. Now we can go to our bank and we can get things from our bank and things like that. But the literacy part is so important. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this: should we keep our personal expenses and business expenses separate?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have, I don't know, maybe about 7, 8 accounts.
Okay.
And my business and my personal is completely separate. Completely. I don't tie the two together whatsoever. Just because from investment and reinvestment standpoint,
yeah,
my personal is not tied to that. You know, that is my business income. You know, so I keep those completely separate.
I think it's smart. Also, because it allows you to see how much money you're actually making in your business. And then if you want to pay yourself a salary or things like that, then you can transition and do those things.
There you go.
But if you mix it, then you're not going to really know. And now you're treating your business like a real side hustle. And it's like, no, we want that side hustle to turn into a real business, because it's ultimately that should be your goal, because you got to be passionate about at least your first side hustle. You got to be passionate. Yeah. I think so, because what's going to drive you? You know, it's not the money is fulfilling and the money is it, but there got to be some sort of pride or something there, right?
It's got to be. It's got to be.
All right, man. Well, this is Slice of Pie. This is a podcast about entrepreneurship and personal finance. What's one of your financial vices?
Man, that's a good question.
It's super. I can go first if you need a second.
Go ahead. You go first.
All right, cool, man. So every episode I do this, and I've listed so many vices. People are going to say, this dude is horrible with money. But you know what? One of my vices, I'm going to say, is Apple. I don't know what it is, but whenever a product come out for Apple, I at least consider buying it. Yeah. Like when I tell you last year I bought a MacBook last August, right? Mm-hmm. And I bought it was a MacBook Pro. And then about a month later, the new MacBook Pro came out, and I was pissed because the new MacBook Pro had the HDMI port. Okay. And when I go in schools and teach, I can plug right into the HDMI port without using an adapter.
Right.
But they was only giving me like $700 for my MacBook, and I paid like $15 for it. So, I ain't no fool. I just kept my MacBook and used the port. But it's like an emotional thing, because I've been with Apple since like 2008. And it's like...
Me too, bro, about the same time.
The watch. Do I need the watch? Yeah. No, I got the watch. You know what I mean?
I don't even use the watch for what it's for.
Yeah, so AirPods. I don't like the AirPods, but my wife and my kid got the AirPods. I got an iPad Pro. I got the Apple TV, and it's like, bruh, Apple needs to chill out. So that's one of mine. I know it's not right, but I manage it in moderations because I don't buy things all the time, and I have to justify it.
You know what? I don't either. But if I had to list a vice, it would be shoes.
Sneakers. You as a big sneaker guy.
It would be shoes, man. I probably literally got well over 300 pairs now.
Still?
And I still keep
buying them. Because those look fresh. Those look like they were brand new.
Dude, I never put them on a day in my life. I said I knew I was going to be on a podcast, so I got to put on some new shoes.
So pause. So you out here hustling, grinding. Like, you're not wearing your good shoes.
No, heck no. Like, these are fresh out the box.
Not a crease in them. I can tell they're fresh because I know where the creases would be on those. So yeah. When
I'm working day to day, like I wear my everyday shoes.
Something that's sensible.
Something that's sensible. Something that is comfortable. First off, because I'm on my feet a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I you know what? I told myself that I would start wearing more and more of my shoes moving forward, but I haven't yet.
Yeah.
I guess it's the first time.
When do you have time?
I don't.
That's the thing.
I don't.
Because even when you start wearing them, you don't want to dog them.
Yeah.
We're sneakerheads, man. We live in a different world.
Man. You know what? I don't even know how many shoes I got. I just know it's a lot.
Yeah. It's crazy. I sold a lot. And when I sold a lot of my sneakers in 2020, I put all that money into Nike. And that's how I start funding like my investment accounts and stuff, right? But I started buying more shoes like 6 months after.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
What?
I knew you were still buying shoes, but I didn't know you was back out.
I am,
yeah,
but
I knew you had sold a lot.
Then I got a bot and not a bot.
So, you got the bot.
I got a bot, yeah. And then the bot allows me to do checkouts. And I can get like all these cool ass shoes. And it's like, Yeah, so it's a vice. And
I bought the 5s that came out yesterday. For what? I don't know.
self-care.
Yeah, we were talking up to that.
So cool, man. In closing, I want you to give a final tip to someone that wants to make that transition from the 8 to 5 to their side hustle, and they're already established, but they're scared to take that jump. What would be your advice to them?
I'm gonna tell you what Steve Harvey told me.
Okay.
Jump. You can always go back to work. Jump. Right now, and I'll give you a little bit about me just and wrap up in 2 seconds. I have an undergrad in finance.
Okay.
I have an MBA. I have a master's in higher education. I have all these degrees that I'm not utilizing right now. A superintendent who wanted me to come run his schools asked me, Aaron, why did you give this up? I said, well, how can I instill in my students that you need to follow your dreams if I'm not following mine?
Yeah.
Right? Follow your dream, follow your gift, whatever that is. Leap, jump, go for it. At least you tried. Embrace the failure. I want to fail, right? Because there has not been not one successful person who hasn't failed before they succeeded.
Yep.
Right?
Failure's
I
a part
want to
of
fail
it.
at something because now that teaches me what not to do next time.
Yeah, there's more lessons in a loss than it is in a win. And I'll finish this, and I'll piggyback off of Steve Harvey. And Steve Harvey also said that you will never know if your parachute will open unless you take the jump. And actually, I got that from when you said it in your basement when you was cutting our hair.
Really?
Yeah, like 2015, 2016.
Oh.
Yep.
That's crazy.
2014. No, it was like 2013 because Duran was still with. He was still here, so it's like 2013. Yep. So crazy, right?
That's crazy. That's
Cool.
beyond crazy, man. But yeah, leap. Go out there
Do it.
and do your thing.
Cool. Appreciate it, man. My outros are always awkward, so.